Hollywood panics as Paramount announces massive new layoffs today. Paramount Global is laying off 15% of its U.S. workforce, with the current phase of cuts expected to be 90% complete after today's cuts. The layoffs are part of Paramount's plan to achieve $500 million in annual cost savings, which includes restructuring and workforce reduction across several departments. Paramount's streaming division, along with its advertising sector, is facing significant cuts, reflecting challenges within the media industry. Usually, if you're in sales and you're good at sales, you've got a steady job and you're doing okay. That's not just for TV, it's not just for entertainment, it's for life. If you're good at sales, if you actually bring in money, they don't tend to cut you. But not in the case of Paramount. It almost doesn't matter how good you are. If you're working at Paramount, you've got a really strong chance of being laid off. The layoffs are driven by declining revenue from traditional TV sources, high costs associated with streaming, and the need to adapt to a rapidly evolving media landscape, which Paramount has not been able to do. Of course, it's also involved in a merger right now. Will Paramount be able to come out of this? I would not bet on it. They will have these layoffs, but these aren't even strategic layoffs. These are just layoffs where they look at it and they say, hey, we don't need these operations and these separate divisions. We don't need these extra people. Some of those people they probably do actually need, but they're going to keep cutting until it looks like they can continue to get the revenue that they're getting without as much of the expense. Still, 15% of a workforce is a massive amount, which is why one of the moves they made was to completely shut Paramount TV studios, destroy the entire division. They said on a Tuesday, we're going to be closed up by this Friday, and they got rid of pretty much everybody, moving all of their production over to the CBS television division. That's a vicious cut. There must have been somebody good working at Paramount TV studios, but the entertainment industry can't depend on their jobs anymore. Beyond all this, it just creates more of a workforce pool of people who are now unemployed, looking and competing for the same jobs in the entertainment industry. From Deadline, Paramount initiates next round of layoffs in ongoing effort to cut 15% of the U.S. workforce. Paramount Global has initiated the next phase of its plan to lay off 15% of its U.S. workforce, saying the cuts will be 90% complete after further cutbacks today. Sure, that's for this phase, but it's not like they have an operating plan that actually works. When they have an operating plan that they think will actually work, after these cuts, they will need to make new plans to hire additional people, but also get rid of other people, especially if they sell off any divisions. You get sold off as a division, the odds of you keeping your job are maybe 50%. Not just because of cutbacks, but because usually the divisions that acquire sold off divisions already have their own people and their own infrastructure. So they may pick a few people from here and pick a few people from there. But just like with the shutdown of Paramount's TV division and all of those layoffs, they don't really need those people at CBS if CBS already has its own production. So if they sell one of their divisions to yet another company, the employees that are attached to that division are very unlikely to be able to continue in a stable environment working for the new company. George Cheeks, Chris McCarthy, and Brian Robbins conveyed the news to staffers in a memo this morning. The co-CEOs months ago said they were aiming to achieve $500 million in annual cost savings, with layoffs a key component in hitting that target. Sources have indicated to Deadline in recent days that the streaming organization within Paramount, encompassing several departments, is expected to be the most directly affected by Phase 2. The company's advertising division was targeted by a number of cuts last week. And that's this article, Paramount layoffs hit advertising division. Over the course of the year, a number of high-profile executives have left the company, and Paramount Television has shut down, with its shows moving to CBS Studios. You're really going to move the shows and not the people, and you're going to really tell people on a Tuesday you're shutting down by this Friday? That is severe, and that is what they did. This is from Hollywood Reporter. Paramount TV studios shutting down amid major restructuring layoffs. Projects at the Nicole Clemens-led unit will move under the CBS Studios umbrella. And they pushed out Nicole Clemens without even giving her a producer deal. That's usually something every studio will do when they get rid of a top person. And they do that so it's not such a bad thing relationship-wise. where there are as many bad feelings as there otherwise would be. And I'm sure Nicole Clemens is not happy about being pushed out, especially without any kind of deal to make additional money from these guys as time goes on. And directly from their memo, quote, like the entire media industry, we are working to accelerate streaming profitability while at the same time adjusting to the evolving landscape in our traditional businesses. In order to set Paramount up for continued success, we're taking these actions, the memo said. Days like today are never easy. It is difficult to say goodbye to valued colleagues, and to those departing, we're incredibly grateful for your countless contributions. Paramount had 21,900 full-time and part-time employees in 33 countries globally at the end of 2023, as well as 4,500 project-based staffers. Last February, the company let go of 3% of their employees. The current rounds are expected to see a total of at least 2,000 more employees depart. No exact figure has been available for today's round, but it's believed that several hundred workers are affected. The staff reduction stemmed from a daunting set of financial challenges facing Paramount and other legacy media companies, especially due to the decline in linear TV viewership and advertising. Last month, as Paramount reported its second quarter financial results, it also revealed a $6 billion write-down of the value of its cable network assets, because all the cool kids have been canceling their cable. As the cash flow from traditional pay TV sources diminishes, the cost profile of the streaming businesses and the ever-increasing fees for top-tier sports rights are only adding to the worries of companies saddled with significant debt. Here's the full memo from the co-CEOs. Hi everyone, we're following up on the note below to inform you that today we'll begin phase 2 of our workforce reductions in the US. Like the entire media industry, we're working to accelerate streaming profitability, while at the same time adjusting to the evolving landscape of our traditional businesses. Well, that should make people feel better then. In order to set Paramount up for continued success, we're taking these actions, and after today, 90% of these reductions will be complete. Days like today are never easy. It's difficult to say goodbye to valued colleagues and to those departing. We're incredibly grateful for your countless contributions. We appreciate everyone's resilience and commitment to delivering some of the biggest hits across TV and film, and for continuing the hard but necessary work to best position the company for the future. Thanks, George, Chris, and Brian. Well, I'm sure that makes a lot of people feel better as they lose their jobs and go into a job market in the entertainment industry that's basically impossible. I cover that a lot on this channel. Hollywood panics over this, Hollywood panics over that, because it really is a destroyed, depressed industry right now. Unless you're working at Netflix, Netflix seems to be doing great. Other than that, these companies are in trouble. That includes Disney. But Disney, because it's so big, and because it's so vicious, and because it's got revenue sources from so many different places, always seems to make it by. Lately, Disney's biggest trick is destroying the rest of what's left of the cable industry. From Business Insider, Disney's plans to future-proof its TV business could help kill the cable bundle even faster than expected. Disney's plan is to take ESPN, create its own standalone ESPN streaming service, use that to compete with what's left of the cable companies. But they've also tried to create something new called Venu, which is a separate subscription service basically for ESPN. But because of lawsuits, it looks like that one's not going to happen. But the ESPN standalone streaming service will actually happen. So when they compete directly with cable companies for what's supposed to be the main thing that people subscribe to cable for in the first place, and they do it for a much less price than it costs for a cable subscription, what is that going to do to the rest of the cable companies? And not just the cable companies, what's that going to do to their competitors who are still relying on distribution for cable channels through cable companies? It's going to hurt them. It will also hurt Disney's cable channels, but Disney will find a way to do some cutbacks, some consolidations, and still be able to distribute its cable channels, probably somehow through association with or some additional upsell through their ESPN streaming service, if that's the thing that's the most successful. Or they'll just bundle it with Hulu and distribute their cable channels somehow that way. Disney will manage to do okay for itself, especially if it doesn't destroy its brands, and it continues to be so incredibly vicious as to destroy the rest of the industry so they can continue to survive. And these new announced layoffs from Paramount come on top of their layoffs at their advertising division. Paramount's advertising division was the latest unit to be hit by layoffs. It comes a month after Paramount Global officially initiated long-planned layoffs that will see it cut its US-based workforce by 15%. The cuts began on August 13th, and 90% are expected to be completed by the end of September. They're designed to save around $500 million in annual costs and come as the company's in the process of being bought by David Ellison's Skydance Media. Haley, who took over as president of advertising in September 2022 after longtime executive Joanne Ross stepped down, informed staff via email seen by Deadline earlier. Quote, "As you know, a key part of our strategic plan outlined by our co-CEOs is to reduce the size of our workforce in order to return Paramount to profitable growth," he wrote. "Today is going to be a difficult day as this process will affect our organization and we'll be parting ways with talented and valued teammates and friends. I want to acknowledge how unsettling this may feel, as this is not the first time our organization has shouldered impacts. None of this is easy and no decision was made lightly. I understand they have to write some kind of memo to their staff to let their staff know what's going on, but none of this seems to resonate in any kind of way where they sincerely feel bad that they are ruining people's lives over this. But it's mismanagement. They're losing tons of money. What else are they going to do? It just lets you know you can't really rely on employers anymore." Haley encouraged his team to work from home today and to exercise grace and kindness towards one another as we navigate these undoubtedly tough changes. Because if you work from home, then he doesn't have to feel bad about everyone milling around the office being depressed. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a strategy. It probably does help somehow. It keeps people from spending their entire day wandering around, bumping into each other, saying, "Hey, did you get laid off?" "No, I didn't yet." "Do you think you'll get laid off?" "I don't know. Did you hear Tim got laid off?" I get it, but it's just terrible times for the entertainment industry. Haley oversees the company's domestic multi-platform sales across its broadcast, cable, and streaming platforms, including CBS, BET, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, Paramount Plus, and Pluto TV. He was previously Chief Operating Officer of Advertising Revenue for Paramount. All of these entertainment companies are in trouble. They were not prepared for Netflix. Netflix came in, technology changed, they grew until everyone else really became uncompetitive. And to make things worse, they produced so much content that people didn't actually want to push a social agenda. It only damaged them further. These independent streaming services, the only one that really is actually legitimately making money is Netflix. Disney claimed they made some money. That's accounting tricks to me. I don't trust Disney. That's just my opinion. Warner Bros. Discovery can say they're making a profit here and there, but they're actually including HBO revenues from that. So I don't really see that as a profit on streaming. Netflix has these companies beat. The only way these companies could actually succeed is by relying on brands and producing things people actually want to see and being incredibly lucky. In the meantime, they'll just lay people off again and again and again. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.